What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Entre Mike back where the Entre is short for entrepreneur. And in today's video, we're going to be doing a spot market update for box trucks and going over last week's, search requests. So if you guys enjoy this type of content, make sure you guys drop a like. And if you want to see your city and state in next week's video, make sure you drop that down in the comment section. This video is also sponsored by MIG Trucks. If you guys need a box truck dealership in the Southeast, will be MIG Trucks out of downtown Atlanta. If you guys want his contact information, make sure you check it down in the description. And before we hop into the low board real quick, I just want to show you guys the average rate per miles that's coming out. Looks like South Central right now is the second highest place for rate per miles. Number one still be in the Midwest. Then you got the West Coast, Southeast, but I will still keep like this as far as load volume, load to truck ratio. When you come to the load to truck ratio and matching it up with the rates, it looks like this will still be your high areas, your Southeast, Midwest, into South Central, back to the Southeast. So that's kind of what I would do out of the Southeast. If I was in the Midwest, I would just kind of stay around here. And if I was in South Central, I'd be trying to get up into the Midwest, maybe take a little. I would just keep the same triangle. Honestly, that's just me, man. But you guys can do what you want. I'm just trying to give you guys some tips and tricks. And check this out. Check out the load to truck ratio. We're actually rising pretty early in the year. We got higher load to truck ratio, or just higher load to truck ratio now from July than what it was in peak season of last year. So that's pretty impressive. I'm wondering if we're just gonna kind of settle and stable out here, like stabilize, or are we gonna rise above and just create a new load to truck ratio number? That would be really exciting to see for the box trucks. But now we're gonna go ahead and hop over to the load board. Hope you guys are enjoying the video. Make sure you hit that like button. We got the first search on here, Atlanta, Georgia. Next, I think we got Tampa, Florida. So just stay tuned. We got a lot of searches from last video. Thank you guys for showing your support and dropping down some comments so these videos can be a little bit longer, showing a little bit, a few more searches. But at the top, if you guys are brand new, real quickly, origin is where we're picking up a load. Deadhead origin. Deadhead refers to how many miles you gotta drive to pick up the next load. Destination, if you wanted to go somewhere specific, like let's say New York, New York. It will show how many loads are coming from Atlanta to New York on the load board within, the deadhead area for both of them. So within 200 miles of the pickup and 150 miles of the drop off, right? You got equipment type. We got straight truck, sprinter van, and van liftgate for, the equipment type you can pick up. Full type, we got full and partial, 26 feet, 10,000 pounds, and a date range of from Friday to Monday. All right, and we're gonna hit search. Let's take off New York off of here. Boom. All right, and highest rate per mile, as you guys can already see, is going from Norcross to Philadelphia. This is ridiculous. As you can see, though, it's white glove furniture delivery, 25 stops, in-home delivery, 2-man crew required, box truck weekly routes. So that's pretty cool, man. If you guys are interested in some type of weekly route like that, hit them up. 25 stops is crazy, and then you do need a 2-man crew, right? Feel like this would probably benefit a sleeper team more, depending on when they could pick up and drop off. But that's a pretty unique opportunity as far as like finding direct freight or direct shipper type freight on the load board. So it's not really common. This is more of a common load right here. 26 feet, 5,000 pounds. From Atlanta to North Carolina, about $2 a mile, nothing crazy. Same thing going to Jacksonville, Florida. You need a lift gate for it. So make sure you guys read the comment. Make sure you're checking out that credit score. All right, let's go ahead and look at the highest rate coming out of here. Same one, the white glove one. We'll skip this one. 3,000 to go to Washington for $1 a mile. Nothing crazy. Let's see this one. $1.40 to go to Oklahoma. Tracking required. Good old PLS. So let's see. Let's go ahead and look at the next search. The next search we have is Tampa, Florida. Let's go ahead and go to the highest rate per mile. Got $500, $1.95 to go from Florida to Florida. Flock Freight. See them right there. Same load. $1.17 to go to Wyoming. Partial load, pallet jack on site. They will unload. Doesn't really help with the rate per mile, buddy. Team truck. I mean, you guys can kind of see that the highest rate per mile was under $2, and everything else is like basically $1 or less. So not really much here as far as rate per mile. Let's look at the highest rate. The same load going to Wyoming from Spring Hill. So not really much here. I don't want to really stay on the dead zones too much. It's a lot of freight, but you're gonna have to partial up freight. So I want to just go to the linked part and pick up a bunch of partials to kind of get out of there. A lot of 5 feet, 4 foot loads. So if they're 4 or 5 feet, they're probably just one pallet. So just keep that in mind. All right, next we got Rochester, New York. Highest rate per mile is 306 a mile. The truck would have to be 96 wide inside with E-tracks and ratchet straps. So, pretty much common sense. You need a pretty good standard size box truck. 96 by 96, 240 a mile to go from Buffalo, New York to Hazleton, PA. Another Flock Freight load, been a lot of Flock Freight lately. 224 a mile to go from Erie, PA to Clifford Township, PA. No comments on here. 220 a mile, so not too bad for the Northeast, but of course, going into New York, you are going to have tolls, so keep that in mind. And for the highest rate coming out of the East Coast, $2,000 to go all the way to Washington. A lot of those going to Washington. 91 cents a mile to go to Kansas. Not the prettiest rate per miles once you start getting up here, but as you can see, most of these are partials. So you have to be putting a few of these together to get a decent rate per mile out of here. But I wouldn't really bank on it, even seeing these partial rates. They're pretty bad. Let's go on. Let's go ahead and move on to the next search. We got a good bit of them. All right, next place we got is Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Got 223 a mile to go to Denver, Colorado. Lift gate needed, next day delivery. So that's a good little trip, but you make $1,500 in a day. The deadhead would be an issue. You could probably drop it off in the morning the next day, but that's going to be, you're going to run out your entire clock the first day. Probably have to drive a few hours the next day. And then picking up out of Denver, Colorado, just to show you real quick, like it's not a lot of loads coming out of Denver. So, well, some loads coming out of here now, but check out the rate per miles on them. 70 cents, 60 cents, 50 cents. So getting out of Colorado is always a task, and be ready to have to partial up to get out of there. But let's look at a few more loads before moving on. Iowa to Iowa. 53-foot drive land only. So let's look at the next straight box. North Dakota, unfortunately, that's another dead zone. Lift gate required. Nothing crazy. Look at the highest rates coming out. 1,500 going to Cali. Gotta be, well, yeah. It's pretty cheap. Pretty cheap. Same load going to Denver. 1,350 going to New Mexico. No reefers, no sprinters, no box trucks. 20 feet drive van only, basically. So let's go ahead and move on to the next place. All right. We got the next search in Laredo, Texas. For the highest rate per mile, must be Landstar approved. Check that out. It's 98 tall, though. So you would have to be at least 98 tall in order to get this load. So make sure you're checking the comment sections. That's a really good rate, though. $1,500. That's probably going to be the best for sure. You got one going to Colorado. New Mexico, I deliver Saturday. Then 2 Colorado deliveries on Tuesday and they're closed on Monday. So it'll take a lot of your time in order to get this done. You need more money for this. Grovetown, Georgia, no comments, so it might be more of a regular load. 4 p.m. picks, 3 drops. Oh, I guess that's 4 picks, 3 drops. Lenexa, Kansas, 8 a.m. This just sounds complicated. I would not put this on my truck, guys. Just being honest. Let's go to the highest rate. Yeah, I figured it was going to be this one. The one with 2 deliveries in Colorado on Tuesday because they are closed on Monday, unfortunately. So, yeah, let's go ahead and move on out of Texas. Well, you know what? The next one was in Houston, so might as well stay in Texas for now. We go to the highest rate per mile. As you can see, Houston has 3 times more loads than the last search in Laredo because that's kind of a dead zone. But Houston and Dallas are going to be the only 2 places I would actually dispatch a truck to if I was a dispatcher nowadays. But you know, that's kind of always been the purpose. Let's see, Channelview, Texas. I picked up a load there before. St. Rose, Louisiana, $260 a mile, not bad for a van. Let's see, Temple, Texas to Fairfield, Illinois. I don't know why I feel like I already saw that one. $204 a mile. Another Temple load. No comments over here in Houston. What's going on? Douglasville, Georgia, TQL. No deadhead for real. Probably 5-10 minutes away. Depending on traffic though. So, and the highest rate coming out is $3,100 to go to Washington. All these loads going to Washington. What's going on, Washington? San Antonio to Nevada, E-Track and Strap. So, I mean, a common sense truck. I mean, you're going to have E-Tracks to do this. Not a lot of action. I was hoping there was more specific comments to go through, but you guys can just check it out as I'm scrolling through. All right.